Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to be doing a demo review of this player here, and I definitely have no idea how to say his name. At first I thought it might be backwards, but that doesn't make any sense either, so for this game we're just going to call him Shia LaBeouf, and we'll go from there. So he is in Silver Elite Master, which is here, and we're going to be focusing on a couple of things here, and the main one is kind of this idea of like, what are you doing, right? And not what are you doing in terms of your name is incomprehensible and you have a weird vaguely anime picture, what are you doing with your life? Or your name is ACAB and while getting dominated you spam the chat about private cheats, what are you doing with your life? No. The idea is, what are you doing in any scenario? You don't want to be going into these scenarios, and this is extremely common at these lower levels, and it's understandable because you don't really know what you're doing. You're kind of winging it. You're doing a lot of thinking on the fly, and you really want to be getting out of that. And so you want to be taking a little bit of your time and not putting yourself in scenarios where you're kind of like, what am I doing? Oh my God, there's a player over there. Oh my God, what am I doing? Like always reacting instantly to information that you don't need to react to. You want to be trying to always have an idea. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? What is my goal here? And go from there. And so that's a little bit hard when you're new. However, you still want to be making that effort. So here, the first thing, if you rewind this back a little bit, he crossed middle. We'll talk about that. I'll just say crossing middle is a bad idea. However, this is Silver Elite Master. That's really not something that's that important. These kind of like small, don't cross mid. It's necessary to know. However, it's not all that important compared to the other things that you need to know at this rank. So we've got our protagonist here, Shia LaBeouf. He's going to get this kill here, and the main thing I want to mention there is the crosshair, not the crosshair placement, but the recoil control is actually pretty bad here. Shia LaBeouf is not pulling down on his crosshair nearly enough, and hopefully he can work on that in future games. But the main problem here is what he's going to do right now. So you're in a 3-on-1, bomb secure. What he should be thinking about in general is probably maybe this guy's coming through apps. My teammate's at bottom mid, so he's not going to be coming up here. It's possible he's going to come through CT spawn, but this guy is staring at a wall over here. I'm sure he's got that covered. So the main thing you're going to be worried about here is apartments. And instead of being worried about apartments, he is staring at a dead body, and now he's going to back into apartments while worried more about the boiler than the player he's fighting, and so he's going to die there. And now the important thing to recognize here is the player that loses the round in a 3-on-1 typically is the first player to die, because usually if you play it right, you can win a 3-on-1 almost every time. However, 2-on-1s can go either way if the terrorist plays very well. So you want to be playing super safe, play smart as that, 3-on-1 starts to develop until your teammates can get into crossfires. They're a little bit more safe, and definitely don't walk around the map going, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? I should be doing something. Instead, take your time, think about what you want to be doing, and move on from there. So here we're going to be moving into round number 7, and he's going to be having a CZ here, and heading into apartments. And this is something a little bit about limited information here. So what you're going to have happen is he's going to be making a lot of noise when not necessary. Now, the benefit of playing this pushed up in apartments when you haven't done it before, or you haven't done it many times before, is your opponents aren't going to expect you there. However, when you make a lot of noise, like is going to happen here, your opponents expect you, they line up, and you no longer have that jump on players. You no longer have the surprise factor. So what you're really trying to do here in a lot of these scenarios where you're getting aggressive as a counter-terrorist is keep that limited information on your side. The terrorists will have to make some noise, throw some nades, throw some flashes, do a little bit of running when they get aggressive, when they start to get close to where you are. So you're going to get the information where they are, and you want to keep that information of where you are to yourself until you're shooting them in the side of the head. And now what's going to happen here is this player's teammate, Shia LaBeouf's teammate here, has died in window, and he knows for sure, Shia LaBeouf knows for sure that there is a guy in window room. And this guy in window room has no idea that Shia LaBeouf is here. So what does he do? He makes a footstep, runs after him, gets lined up on, and dies. That will happen every time. You have to be thinking to yourself, what is the information I know? I know he's in window. What is the information he knows? Nothing. And generally you want to keep that advantage. Now there are situations where you're kind of like right around the corner, or you know he's going to run away, or you can get the drop on him, where you want to go and give up that advantage a little bit just to make sure you get that kill in certain scenarios. However, generally you want to be keeping that advantage whenever possible, unless there's a reason not to. So heading into round number 8 here, and this is going to be a bit of a weird round. A lot of kind of crazy stuff happens, but I guess that's the nature of a Silver Elite Master. People dying all over the place, people rushing, getting a bunch of kills with P90s, whatever. And Shia LaBeouf here is actually going to start out on Arch side. And so we'll make a quick note. You don't want to smoke off mid that early, because there's no way they could be up mid at that point. You know, you would know if they were rushing mid. You would hear them, they would flash, and that smoke wouldn't do shit anyways. You want to wait, hold that smoke for a little bit, and use it when there's actual pressure on middle where they could be slowly working it. So maybe 8-10 seconds from now. Or if you want to cross mid, it's okay, I guess. However, what's the point in going arch side anyways if you're going to cross mid right away? However, again, I want to focus on more broad kind of strokes here. General topics instead of the specific stuff, because that's the most important thing when you're in Silver Elite Master, is not to know, okay, in this exact scenario I want to be, you know, aiming right here, I want to be like throw this flash, throw this in. No, focus on these broad strokes purposes, things that you generally want to do and improve overall, and then go into the little bit more specific things, which will oftentimes be pretty obvious how to play out when you know these kind of general ideas. So here, both of his teammates die at the same time by different players directly beside him. So he knows both players are there. So generally what you want to do, turtle up a little bit. Your teammate's flanking. You're kind of in an open area where it's pretty easy to get traded. The enemies don't know where you are and you know where they are, but it's not like you know exactly where they are. You just know they're in alt mid, so there's no real reason to get antsy. You could easily back up to boiler or something, but the idea here is there's two players, you know where both of them are, and your teammate has taken out the other half of the map. Group up with your teammate. Take that information you have, maybe try and cut off the rotate so they can't, get away, so you still continue with that information. Take that information and run with it. Don't just go, oh, there's two players here, kill him, and then your teammate doesn't have time to rotate in. You're not really utilizing that information to the fullest. Instead, not only is he going to push, he's also going to make footsteps before pushing, giving away even more information, get the kill, and then go, oh my god, I got a kill, what do I do, and he's dead. Instead, you might want to sit on these stairs for a second, recognize that not only do you know both of the players are in alt mid, but you also just saw one of the terrorists shoot his teammate in the back up, and even if you didn't know where the second terrorist was, you have to be thinking, what is the optimal play here? 2-on-1, survive. So in every 2-on-1, you want to just focus on surviving, grouping with your teammate, winning a free 2-on-1, instead of, I got to kill, OMG, like you're playing gun game and you get a speed boost after you kill someone. You don't need to do that. So heading into round number 11, you're going to see Shia LaBeouf play possibly his 11th different position of the game. And, you know, it is what it is. His teammates are next level bad. And of course, I mean that in comparison to the players he's playing. You can have a good team in Silver 1 or a terrible team in Global Elite. Just in terms of, can they hold their spots? Are they good comparatively? Are they communicating? Things like that. But his team, it seems like every round has died in the most ridiculously fast ways. And of course, Shia LaBeouf here, he's not top fragging by any means. He's in the middle of the scoreboard here. Gets a few kills this round, but still, He's not carrying. However, it feels like every round he's gone to one side of the map. His whole team has died on the other side of the map, and he's kind of been hung out to dry. Now, of course, he could have gotten some extra kills, but still, the way his team has been playing, I can kind of understand a little bit of shifting around, especially if its teammates are doing that anyways. However, typically you want to be trying to set up in one spot and go there round after round after round. That way you can get a little bit of muscle memory. You can go into game after game and continue to get better instead of kind of just winging it, because a lot of the things you do are going to be based on a feel for your spot, based on how opponents typically play against you in certain scenarios, and a lot of things like that. It's really hard to get consistent when you switch spots around, and this goes on both sides. On T side, if your team's just working picks, you're probably going to just want to go to the same spot or a similar spot as much as possible so that you're used to that from game to game to game. And the same thing, of course, for CT side. You want to be used to it, get used to your opponent's tendencies and things like that. So anyways, in this round, he went for a little bit of an aggressive play here with the CZ. He is a pretty aggressive player. Of course, the only reason you'd want to be rotating around spots really is if you're an aggressive kind of entry fragging opper, which Shia LaBeouf here is not. So we can kind of discount that. But he's getting aggressive most of the places he goes, which I actually quite like because his team is so terrible. Like, he needs to do something, it feels like, although maybe he just needs to have some luck in terms of having opponents come to him. But as you can see, his teammates have rushed down banana and rushed down middle, so maybe getting aggressive is definitely the idea here. However, he's heard quite a few people in all mid, and instead of staying pushed up, holding this angle here and getting kind of traded because he's in a kind of open spot, especially without very much support, he actually fell back down the hallway here, which I actually quite like. It's a very good play, and he's going to play this round very well. He's going to catch a player coming around the corner here. He's going to hear the player behind him, peek out, and get the free kill very well. He's going to recognize, unlike he has missed several times before, he knows where his teammate is. He hears his opponent coming. He's not staring in the wrong direction. The notable problem he does here is actually he knows this player is here. His teammate is securing this side, so he should be turned around by this point and knowing that this player can only come up through the hay, and he should be keeping himself silent so his opponent doesn't really have any idea what he's doing. Instead, he's going to make a footstep here because, I don't know, maybe he's got a glitchy shift key, but it happens quite often. At some point here, he did make a footstep, if I can remember correctly, and that gave his opponent a bit of an idea where he was, although, of course, that didn't really make a difference. He got the kill anyways. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.